I don't care who says what. Longwe will never pull a trigger. Longwe does not even know how to use a gun. Longwe has never carried a gun in his entire life. What he has carried is drugs, smoking drugs, nyaupes, and all this nonsense. And also he's a thief. He steals. If you tell me that he does that, trust me, I'll be a witness to that. But you telling me that Longwe shot Senzo Meyiwa, that's nonsense. All those lawyers in court who are making a lot of noise just for them to make money. They are just there for money, nothing else. They know nothing, and they also, if Senzo's best friends, two friends, cannot say it Longwe, I did confront those boys. They must tell me the truth, and they told me the truth. And besides, even if they didn't tell me, Longwe has never carried a gun in his entire life.
And how do you feel as a parent to open a case against your child? It must be hard. How do you feel?
Look, I opened the case not because of the Senzo Meyiwa matter. Even if Senzo was still alive, if my son is in a situation that he's in now, I will definitely open a case. It's got nothing to do with Senzo. Even if Senzo was alive, I think what is happening now with my son will definitely happen. I opened those charges because of the pain that I'm feeling as a parent. I've taken necessary steps to try and assist my son, but my son does not want to change. I took him to rehab more than 30 times. I did everything as a parent. I've actually asked people for help and all that. My son does not want to change. Tomorrow is okay, today is okay, tomorrow is not. Hence I decided no, that after actually losing my stuff in the studio and clothes and all that, I decided not, let me actually rather have him arrested.
Well, for more on the Thwala sons' arrest and court appearance, we've roped in legal analyst Mr. Elton Hart. Elton, thank you so much for your time. Good afternoon to you. So, first of all, let's talk about the utterances that you've just heard there of course, Mr. Thwala there adamantly denying the involvement of his son Longwe in the killing of goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa. Can he make such utterances on such a matter that is still going before the court?
I think what Mr. Thwala was doing there is trying to exonerate his son outside of court, using the media to actually get the message across to say that my son is not involved. But for me, I don't think it was wise of him to actually go that route to try and get the sympathy of the viewers to say that my child is a drug addict, he's a thief. And he's half saying, I will hang him out to dry if you say he stole and he's using drugs. But to say he's a murderer is half trying to build his credibility for the allegations or the averments that was made in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And I don't think that is a wise move to do, because now people will also sit on the other side and say, why is he now opening this case? Because there's so many other things that Longwe Thwala has done in the past, and he's never opened cases against him. So why now? Is it now to say that as a father, I will most probably, if my child is guilty of something, I will hold him accountable? And that's most probably the picture that he wants to portray, but I don't think it was a wise move at all.
Interesting indeed. Now, we'd like to get your expert opinion on, we understand that, of course, in relation to the matter that was actually before the court, we understand that the brothers broke into their father's residence while he was away in the States and allegedly stole some studio equipment. So let's understand, Elton, the merits of this case, and if there is, in fact, a big chance that it will go any further.
First and foremost, one needs to check, was there really a break-in? Because, the father's studio, I think that studio, last time I checked, it was at his personal residence. I'm not 100% sure on that fact, but I think the studio is half on the property where he resides. So if the kids on a regular basis would come into the studio, get access and stuff like that, then one has to say that tacitly they were given consent. Did they really break in? Or was it just that maybe they took the stuff that was already at their disposal and actually sold it? And even so, was there really stuff that was taken and actually or stolen? Let's use the term loosely, that he's now saying it was a housebreaking. Was there really a break-in, or is this maybe another trick in the book to actually say, I will take my son and hang him if he's guilty of something? So, and he even mentioned in his interview to say, listen, I confronted those boys that was in the house with Longwe Thwala. That was the investigating officers. Why did you even think that it was necessary? If you felt so strong about what your son will and will not do, why did you not just leave the investigation and say, okay, let the investigation go. If something comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come.
Absolutely, Elton. I mean, we understand that the current charge is, of course, that of theft. And if found guilty, then what type of punishment are they likely facing, the brothers?
It depends on the value of the stuff that is actually allegedly stolen. Let's say, because we don't know if something was stolen. Let's say the stuff that was allegedly stolen. The value of that stuff, one looks at the value, because normally a district court, which has a jurisdictional sanction that they can give you up to 3 years imprisonment, direct imprisonment. So if the value of the stuff is of such a nature that it still lands in a district court, then you know more or less if he gets found guilty, Longwe and Selo, they might get 3 years or less. If the value exceeds the jurisdictional amount for the district court, it will then go to a regional court, and that's normally, if they're found guilty, I think they might be first offenders. They might get also like maybe something like 5 to 7 years for theft as first offenders, but as first offenders you can also get maybe correctional supervision. So there's various other types of sanctions that the court can now hand out or mete out to the offenders, especially when it's first-time offenders.
You know, now, Elton, this is a very interesting matter because it is between father and his sons, right? Does the court ever take any considerations to the relationship of the plaintiff who brought about the changes? In this case, of course, it's the father against his sons. I know you mentioned a little bit about the relationship earlier on when we started the interview. I mean, the sons are pretty much adults in the eyes of the law. One is 34, one is obviously 39 years old. So obviously in the matter, the question are really focused on what then is the legal provisions of dealing with delinquent children. I suppose for other parents in a similar position, what can they really do?
Say, for instance, in the case like this, like Longwe and Sela, I don't know, I know Longwe that the father has now blatantly said on national television that he's using drugs, he's using Nyaupe and all this. I don't know Selo's stance, what is it? But if he's also like addicted to drugs or whatever other substance that they are using, a parent can approach a criminal court, and a criminal court can then do an inquiry, and then they can commit a person to a center under the criminal code, and then it's not like a criminal sentence, but you are committed, and under the criminal law you are then obliged to attend, and they can keep you there for a certain period of time to help you with whatever difficulties you have. Now, that is what delinquent or parents of delinquent family members, it's actually open for family members. So if you have a child in the house that's problematic, that's using drugs or alcohol abuse, you can approach the control prosecutor or the senior prosecutor at a court in which the jurisdiction where the child or children or family member is staying, and say that I've got this problem and I want you guys to now use the court processes to actually send this person away so that we can try and see if he can get rehabilitated. Obviously, in this case of this Longwe boy, his father said, I think he sent him away for more than 30 times to rehab. So he doesn't want to come right. So then sort of have the parents' hands is a little bit in shackles, if one can put it that way. So it's a little bit difficult when you have a family member that's already adults and they've been sent through all the processes, all the routes that's possibly available, is exhausted. And I don't think if he gets locked up and found guilty for theft or housebreaking and theft of the studio equipment and he's sent to jail, because we know in our jails, they might say it's not happening, but drugs is readily available in our jails, and he will just continue. It's just now the father might fear that they might, because now I hear that they're extorting even family members, that to say that your family has to pay in money in e-wallet or cash sent, and then the gangsters get it in order for you to get protection and to also get access to drugs. So he will still find a way, I think, even if he's in prison, if he doesn't want to stop after having been sent 30 times. So it becomes a problematic situation for parents.
Wow, great analysis. Thank you so much for your input there. That is Mr. Elton Hart, the legal analyst on the arrest of the Chicco Twala's sons.